So I'm here to talk about our strategy for the next 5 years. I just want to begin by sharing the background to it, how we went about putting it together, and then what it entitles. I realise you've got a drinks break coming up in not too long, so that'll be your reward at the end of listening about this. But it's honestly, for all of us as trustees and associates and members of staff, it's such a privilege to be here on behalf of the CLL community, to try and help make a difference for all of us. And so we're very, very pleased to be taking the job very seriously, if you like, and doing it properly. So we went about our new strategy. First of all, we had a facilitated away day in April. So it's very important that you have facilitated away days. So we asked the NCVO, the National Council for Voluntary Organisations, to help us with the facilitator, and they came along and we spent the whole day writing on lots of flip charts and working out what really matters about what we're doing, how does it all fit together. And we came away really excited with what we'd come up with, and we recognised that what we were doing was very good, but that we just needed to keep evolving. So we're very much into keeping evolving going forward, doing the good bits but making them even better. And then over the summer we had groups that went away and thought about what we'd come up with at the away day. And then we've had a couple of board meetings since then. We meet every 2 or 3 months, and we've been discussing things there. And at the October board meeting, we approved the strategy for the next 5 years. And now we're busy developing detailed plans. So we've got budgets and business plans flying around that we're going to be discussing at our next board meeting on the 8th of December. And it's so good when you come up with a strategy that's like a pattern of activities for the next few years. And then you actually say, well, what are we actually going to do next year because of it? And it was really interesting, the challenge that then gave to us of making sure we were really doing the right things, and we were doing them in a way that meant we could demonstrate we've been doing them, which was a really important part of it for us. So we're working on those plans. So to set the scene, this is officially what we have to do according to our charitable organisation's objectives, if you like, our actual objects. So we're here to relieve sickness and preserve and protect health by providing support to the patients and their carers. Now we agonise about the word carer, and we're trying to talk now more about support network because we want to try and get the balance right with the language. But the important thing is that we're here for people with CLL and indeed with SLL and their support network. So we're here for all of you and very much see that as our mandate for what we're doing is to represent or look after both those groups. We're here to advance public education in CLL-related matters. It's a very grand aim, isn't it? And we're here to promote and support scientific research. And in fact, we're doing a lot more around that space now than we were a few years ago. So that's really good progress that we've been making. But what is new is that following our discussions, we've come up with a vision and we've come up with a mission. So some people get really excited about visions and missions. What was really good was that we had a fantastic discussion about it, and we then reached a consensus about why are we here. And our vision that we're aiming towards with everything we do is that people with CLL and SLL across the UK can live long, fulfilled lives and not face these blood cancers alone. So for us, that's really important that we're creating a community where you can come along and find people like you that can then support you and you can support them. It's a bit like lots of Beth's pictures of her with her people, if you like, your friends. We're all a bit like that, some enormous group, if you like, where we're all here to look after everybody. And then moving on to our mission, very much about by and for people with CLL and SLL. So we reckon the thing that makes us different is that we're a patient-led charity. So all our trustees either have CLL or SLL or are the partners, support network of people with the condition. So we're very much focused on this from a patient perspective. And we're here to support and empower people who are living with CLL and SLL and their support network, give them access to the latest knowledge to improve their understanding of the condition. So we absolutely believe that information is power. So this is very much what we're trying to share across the community and talk about treatment options and care. And then we represent that patient community by bringing its voice to clinicians, to researchers, and to key decision makers. So it's quite a big ask, isn't it? But we're pleased that that's our vision, that's our mission. And then what we then had to do was come up with, well, how does that turn into a strategy? And then what are our values? So, I mean, some of these words sound a bit overused, if you like, but I think it's really important to say, how are you going to turn what you're trying to do into a set of activities, a set of themes that you're following, and also into well, what do you stand for? What are the words that really matter about what you're doing? And so what you've got on the next slide is the pillars of activity that we came up with and our values. And so the pillars are just 4 words and I'll go through them in a bit more detail, that explain what we're doing and how we're going to group our activities, if you like. And so we're here to help inform all of you and the CLL and SLL communities. We're here to support you. We're here to represent you. And we're also here to thrive. And the thrive, when I talk a bit more about it, you'll see has got 2 aspects to it. One aspect is the internal aspect, to make sure we're a really well-governed, financed charity that gives us sustainability long-term to do the things we're trying to do. And then the other aspect of thrive is we want to get out there to more people so that the more people affected by CLL and SLL get involved with us along the way. So those are the 2 aspects of the word thrive. So we were quite pleased with those 4 words. We thought, well, they actually fit together. And we tried various other ones, didn't we, along the way, Peter? We tried words like advocate instead of represent, and then we decided, no, we're representing. Advocating is part of what we're doing, but we're doing more than that. So lots of tests to ourselves about what are we doing. And then our values. So we were really pleased with these words. We spent a lot of time ending up with them. What do we really stand for? So we stand for being trustworthy, which is very, very much about the quality of the information that we share, both on the website and at events such as today. It's very much about being empathetic. And at one point we were trying to work out which of these values fit with which pillars, and then we realized they all fit with all the pillars. So being empathetic is very much around, in any situation, trying to recognize the other angle, if you like. You've got your views, but what's the other aspect to it so that you can provide empathy? And then we very much wanted to be proactive. We very much wanted to be not just responding to people coming to us saying, can you do something about such and such? We wanted to go out there and be more active with things. We wanted to be collaborative. And the final value, we've got other words in, and we ended up with, we wanted to be practical. So whatever we were talking about, we wanted to turn it into things that happened rather than just talking about ideas. And you've got a picture here. We've put it all together into an amazing picture that's got our vision and then our mission and then the 4 pillars and then our values. And we all have this under our pillow every night when we go to sleep, all the trustees, all the associates, all the staff. This is a requirement of doing the job. You've got to actually try and absorb this, so it's an absolute part of your being. But this is a really nice way of saying this is how it all fits together. And then all I want to do now is just take you through the 4 pillars and tell you a little bit about what we're doing for each of those. And this is not, as I said at the beginning, enormously different to what we've been doing before, but what it is a a renewed focus, and we've been working out which of our activities fits under which pillar. And we've made some moves, if you like. We've adjusted things a bit so that we feel it makes more sense for how we're looking after the privilege we have of being CLL Support. So the Inform pillar, first of all. So very much about the website, loads of fantastic information up there. Just want to give a shout out for Recite Me. So we've got on the website an accessibility tool. So if you want to go onto our website and then read our website in Portuguese, for example, you can press a button and everything magically turns into Portuguese. And we know there are quite a few CNSs around the country who found this really, really helpful when they've been talking to people who've been diagnosed with CLL, who've got other languages as their first language. We're also now accredited by PIFTIC. So this is another bit of the excitement that you get around being involved with a charity. You try and do things that are best to make you more credible. And PIFTIC means that on all the information we send out, we can put this badge that says we're a trusted information creator. And that means that our information that we have on the website, that we talk about at conferences, can be relied on. And that's just so important now. And there's so much information going everywhere. And people, when they're diagnosed, immediately Google stuff. And we say, please, if you're Googling, just go to the CLL Support website or another trusted source of information. Don't scare yourselves. Find out what's out there that's accurate. So very, very pleased to receive that accreditation earlier on this year. Then we've got our quarterly newsletters that come out to you and bulletins. We've got our conferences. We've already worked out 4 of our 5 venues for next year. We've got dates. So we know what we're doing next year. We're very well planned in advance. And of course, we record our events that we put on, such as this, so that it can be shared with people, as well as being able to hear about it on the Zoom call at the moment. You can actually look at recordings afterwards. And then we produce the publications and guides that we find out that you need from what you tell us. We try and be active on social media. And in fact, there was a post on social media earlier this week about the Recite Me tool, telling everybody this is now out there. Do go and have a look at it. And then one of the newer bits, if you like, and it's because of the PIFTIC, is that we need to get feedback on what we're doing. So we're very much going to be doing more about, we already ask you at conferences to give us feedback, but we're going to be doing more about just checking what you think about what we're doing, and are we doing the things that most matter to you. Then the second of our pillars is about support. So we've got several support groups that we're now holding on Zoom 2 or 3 times a year. So we've got one it's really for groups where we want to give them a chance to talk amongst their own community, if you like. So we've got one group that's for the support network of people or partners of people with CLL or SLL, and that's actually next meeting on the 3rd of December. We've got one for men, because the majority of people with CLL and SLL are men, but the majority of the members of our charity are actually women. And so we're just trying to make sure we're here for the men amongst us, because they're the majority of the people with CLL, and we're wanting to make sure we're doing what's right for them. This is by no means unique to CLL Support. I think most health charities will find that women are more likely to join a particular support charity than men, and we're trying to do something about that. We've also got a group for people living on their own. We've recently introduced the idea of a group where you can actually come along, switch off your microphone and sing collectively, because breathing and singing is such a calming, supporting activity. And we have another one that's just a general chat. So we've sort of grouped together or developed over the year a series of support groups for particular characteristics, if you like, or groups that we want to hear what they've got to say and make sure they know that we're here for them. Then we've got our helpline that you can ring up, the number's there, although most of us that would deal with the calls are actually in the room at the moment, so, but we only ever say we'll reply within 48 hours or so. We're not an always there one, but we're a ring back helpline. We've got an under 60s WhatsApp group. We've got the Global Health Unlocked community that has a very big space there with over 20,000 people with CLL globally. Also, we do a lot around the whole area of Support Act. So you mentioned CBT before. We've sort of moved on to ACT, which is acceptance and commitment therapy. And we feel it's just so important from the surveys we've done and what you've said to us. It's just so important that we look after how people are feeling emotionally as well as their physical condition. And that's the emotional bit obviously applies to partners as well. Because this is such an odd thing, it's exactly what you were saying, that you're told you've got a cancer, but we're not going to treat it yet. And then other people start saying to you, well, shouldn't you be being treated? Exactly as you described it, Beth. And it's really quite a difficult situation to get your head around. And we're all different in how well we get our heads around it. But for people that want more support in getting their heads around it, then we've got our online sessions with Support Act. We've either got a series of sessions or we're introducing some meditations, because the meditations we've done on the other sessions have been so popular with people. And also you can get in touch with us and explore the idea of some one-to-one sessions if you feel you need that. So a whole program of support that we're doing that we've now got grouped together, if you like, under this pillar. And then just two more pillars. The first one is the represent pillar, which is very much where we've been trying to make sure that if people are thinking about doing research into CLL and SLL, or if they're talking about new treatments or side effects, we are making sure that the patient voice is there. So that's very much what we've been pushing in that represent space. And then the final pillar around the thrive is around the trustees, around the governance, the policies, the succession, the financial security, so the internal bits I mentioned. But then we've got the external bits of the thrive, which is about promoting all that we do for members and about increasing membership and influence. And there's a wonderful AI-generated picture at the bottom here that looks as if the whole world is holding up the CLL Support banner. So thank you very much to John for creating that for me, but that's where we're trying to get to. And then just finally, I just want to say to you, if we ask you for input about things, if you are able to reply and help us, that's really, really good for us. And then to say we continually need new trustees and associates. So if there's anybody in the audience or online that happens to know about WordPress or has got experience of raising funds from trusts and corporate bodies, or you know of people that do, we'd like to hear from you. And you can, if you want, make cash or card donations, or you can donate online to keep us going. We get funding from pharmaceutical companies, as John mentioned, and the rest we get from the CLL community. And collectively, that really keeps us going nicely, and that works very well. And then finally, just keep on giving us feedback about what we're doing. So you see, we're trying really hard to do what's right for you, but we need you to tell us what we need to be doing for you. And I think that gets me to the break.